So now the little box pops up. You have to click got it. Screen will leave and then you should just see me. Okay. And so again, there's your setup. Make your way to it. Sitting at the front edge of your chair so that eventually none of your leg is on the chair for what we're doing. You want to really feel those buttock bones. They're called the ischial tuberosities, but we just call them sits bones, sitting bones, right? You can feel them, can kind of rock back and forth, feel those butt bones go down through the chair and connect you to this feeling of being rooted or connected to the ground and even below the ground, which is what we want to feel when we stand up. But we'll be using our legs to get us to that rooted quality. But here we're using the chair. And it's a very safe position to practice some of those qualities that we're looking for, that we want to cultivate over time. And then when we stand up, we try to bring those qualities with us. So hands comfortably resting. Finding these, I've been talking about it the last few weeks in the various classes, these three main principles that need to go in sequence that are the underlying practice of Tai Chi, Qigong, and also just effective use of the body. Zhongjung, which means central upright, which means we can't start our practice out of position, right? So if I'm like this, everything else I do is going to be off. So do your best to apply your mind, your attention, your muscle work to place the crown of the head above the perineum. So that's where you can kind of think your center line, your central channel is from this tippity top of the head, and then that very bottom point where the legs meet, the perineum, right? And that usually is requiring a slight drawing down of the chin and a lengthening of the back of the neck. And then in Tai Chi, they describe it as if a string is suspending the body from heaven, from the crown of the head. So that doesn't mean hold yourself up. It actually means let go as if you're being dangled from that crown of the head. So then you have your Zhongjung, central upright. Then you can practice the next one in the sequence, Chunwan, which means soft, sunken, stable. So when you can relax your tissue, hopefully you're feeling warm on this cold day, right? When we're cold, we're sort of rigid and resistant, and for other reasons, we'll be rigid and resistant. But if you can feel warm, you can feel comfortable, then you can relax the muscle, the tissue, connective tissue, the nervous system, and that feeling of letting yourself sink down through the chair and legs, down to the earth, soft, sunken, and stable, without losing Zhongjung, without losing your central upright. So if you've got central upright and then you soften and relax and settle down through to the earth, then the third sort of result of that is Qing Ling, which means light, nimble, agile, sort of buoyant, right? So we are not buoyant if we are upright, but holding ourselves up, which is where most people find themselves, especially when we stand up and walk. We're sort of holding on to this body for safety and sort of out of caution and fear, especially as we age or if you've got some issues. So just this moment of Zhongjung, Chunwan, soft, stable, release, allow yourself down through to the earth. Don't be afraid of the earth. It's actually what gives us our buoyancy, the sort of rebound or the Qingling that comes from that. So let's just take about 6, 7 breaths here. In the nose, out the nose or the mouth. And just let those concepts dance around in your mind. Zhongjang, central upright. Chunwan, soft, sunken, stable, connected downward. Primary direction down. Through, goes through you. And then feel what's left over as Qing Ling. Light, nimble. And you can picture this interesting image of a glass of water with a bunch of dirt and sediment in it. If you relax the glass, where does the sediment go? The sediment settles down, 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 becomes a nice sunken, stable ground of the pond, or at the floor of the glass there, bottom of the glass. And what's left is very clear water. So that is Tai Chi. That's the practice that when we achieve that and sustain that, we can move well, we stay rooted. That's the sort of, you could say it's mystical, but it's also just very practical. Very practical. Last 3, 4 breaths. Now, our joint mobilization and movement series helps to separate that sediment from the clear water, right? So we have areas of us that we're holding on to that we can't just let go of just by saying the word, hey, relax. So that's where the movements come in. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, lift the chest, look up, arch, and do the opposite. Slide the hands forward till the elbows straighten, drop the head, round the back, open the neck, and reverse. Sliding back. Big inhale as you arch, squeezing shoulder blades together, and reverse. So think of it kind of like you're loosening up sediment so that it can settle down into that Chunwan idea. Moving the joints, all 24 vertebrae, shoulder blades, skull, head and neck, pelvis tipping and tilting at the hip joint. And return back to neutral. Find your Zhongjang, feel Chunwan, feel Qing Ling. And then from there, rotations. Left hand, forward is my right hand, your left hand. Other hand, elbow back, hand draws back and turn. And then reverse back to middle and turn the other way. So each round organized by this idea, this sort of North Star, this destination or culmination of Zhongjang, Chunwan, and Qing Ling, that we're working on those states. So each twist, I'm coming back through middle and softening out, and then twisting in a way that gets some of those areas that are rusty, and then I come back through center and release it down and through the body to the earth. So it's this addition by subtraction. Let's come back to middle, feel the center, feel those 3 principles. Arms hang by your sides. Soft lean to the right. Left wrist floats up, empty. Left foot, because you're so much through that right buttock bone. And then back through center, crossing to the other buttock bone, leaning, other foot empty, loose. And change the weight. change. Notice that if you relax, and the more you relax, you don't lose your central pivot, right? So I'm leaning quite a bit, but yet part of me is not disturbed at all. So it's another saying in Tai Chi, top empty, bottom full, but really they mean middle full. So this middle pivot, kind of like a seesaw, the seesaw is going up and down, but that middle pivot is actually stillness, stability. And then let's find the middle. Now let's unpack the usual suspect above the diaphragm, the upper chest and shoulders. So now we bring shoulders forward, up, back and down, and then under and forward, up the front, over the top, back, squeezing and down. And just let those joints get better and better at sliding, gliding. That's again what the Tai Chi practice yields, is a sort of lubricant feeling between the layers of tissue, between the spaces of our joints. And so everything moves easier with less and less and eventually no tension. Let's reverse. Shoulders go back, up, over the top, forward. Slide, gliding. Barnacles loosening, any little crickle, crackle, pops, little sounds usually are good sounds, right? A lot of times they're the sounds of places your tissue has gotten a little adhered and glued, and it's loosening and loosening and loosening. One more. And bend the elbows, bring the hands up. Elbows go down, out, and up. And then they come down, around in front and squeeze. Two more. Again, we're just trying to squeeze the sponge of these usual suspect areas where the subconscious and unconscious tension bottlenecks. Let's pull the elbows straight back, then down, forward, up with the elbows, and then forward, down, and back. Down, forward, up. Forward, down, back. One more. We're also reminding our brain and nervous system how this body moves. One above, one below. Wrap and give yourself a little squeeze. Open. And then change. Wrap. Squeeze. And open. Squeeze. Open. Squeeze. And open. And down. And just shake the arms out. This kind of almost like you got water on the fingers and you're going, gotta get that off, right? Loose, loose. All right. Legs, scoot a little bit back, load, right? Knee pulled in, heel pulled in, push away, load, set it down. Other, load, push, load, down. Load, push, load, down. Again, just keeping in mind, why are we doing this? We're compressing gently, fully extending, recompressing, down. And compress is, sometimes a negative word. You don't want to compress something, but there is this sort of squishing or squeezing like a sponge that you're trying to clean. You got to squeeze it to let it empty and then you want it to fill up with some good stuff, and you squeeze it again, and so the body's like pumps. One more each side. And the body also gets, it's fluid, right? We want to flush and cycle and pump. Now, right leg extend, point foot, flex foot. Invert, evert, a little in and out. Tilt. Circle, in and around. Out and around. And switch. Point and flex. Invert, evert. Circles. Reverse the circle. And down. Scoot once again forward so that really only the buttock bones are on the chair. And then we'll just do a simple swivel rotation thing here. So step your legs a little wider than hip distance so you have a little space here. You're going to lift your toes and turn on the heels, turn the knees and the toes in. So create this internal rotation. Feel how it sort of squeezes the inguinal crease, right? It's a inward sort of squishing of that inguinal crease, the groin crease. Then lift the toes and open. Now you're opening this space, the inguinal crease known as the quad. Close the quad and open. Couple more. Notice the pelvis, the hips, the spine, the upper body can, if you're relaxed, be totally undisturbed by the movement of the legs, and the legs are moving freely, and this whole area is just essentially floating there. So the legs are light. This feeling can be what you can feel when you're standing up as well, and you're changing weight and moving. We want to feel this floating freedom of the hips. Now come back to neutral. We're going to bring the heels in. So now we're in the open position, but it's the heels that moved in and the heels that move out. Heels move in, heels move out. Same idea. Pelvis floating, relaxed quad, which gives you this feeling of, wow, the legs are just loose and floating there. They're not gripped. They're not adhered to the hip area. They're liberated, free, and loose. Okay? And then back to neutral. Now, legs don't move, pelvis folding, sitting upright, leaning back. So now the same feeling we want to cultivate, that freedom, but it's the pelvis that's the moving part, not the legs. But we still want to feel that loose, free, open space of the quad, the groin, inguinal crease, leg, hip socket. Last one there. Now, challenge yourself to stay relaxed in this area as we stand up and sit down. So as soon as we start getting ready to stand up, the body and the brain are going to go, uh-oh, and there's going to be a tension added, but challenge yourself to work that out of your system. Slide the feet back a little, stay very relaxed, pour the weight down through the legs to the earth, and then push through the earth as you stand up. Zhong-zheng, central upright. Cheng-wen, down to the earth. So the primary work is let it go down, and then the upright here is third, tertiary. It's a result of. And then we sit down and we keep ourselves feeling well rooted to the earth, passive, soft relaxation. And then we use the chair to get us or keep us connected. And at no point are we not connected to the earth. We're just changing what's our conduit, what's our plug into our root. and that freedom of movement at the groin and hips. One more time. So we're just folding, soft, loose, easy, and relaxed. Okay. Now, 4 times without sitting in your chair, but sit as if. Sink nice and low and use this to get you down near the floor. Find the floor. Maybe you can even touch the floor. And then back up. And then sit. And then back up. So the first skill that this allows you to be able to work on is I drop something, I need to get it. Butt goes back, I sink down through that free claw area, I get to the floor, I can grab it and I can come back up. The next skill, and we worked on this I think on Friday, please don't do this if this feels dangerous to you, just do what we did a moment ago, this touch the floor thing. But the next challenge for you, you can just watch me, is I get low and then I'm near the floor and it's kind of like an animal crawl. You just crawl a little bit out onto the fingertips, the hands, don't go too far, and then walk yourself back so that it's 100% in the legs and stand all the way back up. We fold, we sink. You have to first establish this connection. Now you've got the hands, so now your hands are your conduit as well as your feet to the possibility of being connected to the ground. And then you just safely kind of crawl out. Now you're half in the hands, half in the feet. And then you're walking back 100% in the feet and push down through the earth. This is a really great one to practice over time. If it doesn't feel open yet, just work on the previous stage. Let's do that one more time. So the previous stage could be right here or here or here or here. Eventually, once you open the pathway, then you find, oh, I can get to the floor. And not only get to the floor, but get off the floor, right? And then back to standing. All righty. Find your standing position. You should have a chair right there. We're going to turn and face the chair, fingertips on the chair, and then rock a little bit to your toes and your heels. Toes. Heels. Right? Toes. Heels. Now we add, go to your toes, stay in your toes as you lift your heels up. Stay in your toes as you lower your heels down, meaning you don't kerplunk back. You stay in the toes as you lower, then you shift back to your heels, lift your toes up, stay in your heels as you lower your toes down, and then rock, lift heels, lower heels, rock, lift toes and ball of foot, lower toes and ball of foot. Let's do one more each way. So we're flushing one of the densest areas in the body, which is the lower leg and feet. That's the sort of a final stage in the freeing the sediment from the body. It's down in the calves, shins, and feet because they have been supporting our body all of our life. So they've trained usually to be pretty dense. So we want to open those up. All right, face forward. Be towards your right side. I'm towards my left, but that's your right. That's how I'll speak to it. And then make sure you've backed up a little bit so your chair is in front of you and to your right. Now, level 1 of this exercise, don't use the chair if you can help it, but it's there for safety. Now, we change the weight into the left leg. Feel the looseness in the right, that quality of Qing Ling. So if I've allowed my Chun Wan, my sinking stable, to go through just one leg, well, then this leg is no longer in use, so it feels Qing Ling, light, nimble. And then let's change. Right leg, let the weight go through it. Let it feel like the conduit to your root. Your other leg feels Qing Ling, light, and empty. And then we change. Light and empty, full, sunken, and stable, and then change again. This is the primary skill. And this is the one people, whenever I'm working with people in various settings, private settings or in groups, this is the one that's overlooked. It's this subtle internal change that, again, isn't something very impressive. It's not some obvious skill, but it's the one that gets us in trouble as we get older or we come into some limitations with our ability. We gotta find this one full, one empty. Now, stay full in the left, lift to the tip of the shoe, tip of the toes in your right foot, and keep it empty as you lower the whole foot back down, the whole foot. Then change the weight, let the weight go through the right leg. As the left is chingling empty, get to the tip of the shoe, go back down whole foot, but without weight. Then change. Don't prematurely try to lift the foot until it's empty, but once it's empty, it lifts with no problem. Back down to the floor, change. Don't prematurely lift, wait for the interchange to happen, the differentiation of full and empty, then play with that free foot. Change again. Now for this next level, you might want hand on chair, maybe not. Get to the tip of the shoe and disconnect the foot from the floor a little bit. Place it back down onto the floor without any weight. Change. Lift the other foot just a little. So we're practicing those three principles. Zhongjung, don't lose your upright. But make sure you got Chunwan, Qingling. So if you yank your leg up with force, that means you never created that separation of full and empty. But when you focus on that separation, then the lift can happen without disturbing your central upright, like I was talking about in regards to the qua being loose and free. This leg can lift and it doesn't even disturb the pelvis, the spine, the shoulders, the head. So focus on that skill. Let's go to level 3. You can see I'm doing it now, my knee rising to whatever the highest height. And you can use the chair for safety. And I'm going to turn sideways so you can see that there's no leaning. It's sinking, sinking. It's this feeling of down through that allows this one to lift. So that when we're about to start walking, primary direction is down. The up is a result of that, like a scale. Primary direction, softening, sunken, stable, down. And then this is free. Okay. Next exercise, hand can be on chair if you need it. Empty your right foot and float it in front, heel touching. Notice I didn't take a humongous step. Take a small step, a comfortable step, where you haven't disturbed Zhongjung. Now, primary direction is down as you shift into your front leg. So once again, sometimes when people shift forward, I see a lot of this happening, right? Or some sort of, I'm going forward instead of down. And the body moves forward. And primary direction down as you shift into your back leg. Primary direction down to the earth. Primary direction down to the earth. This is level 1 where we're empty, full, interchange. We're getting to the tip of the heel in the empty foot in the front and the tip of the toe in the empty foot in the back, but we're not leaving the ground yet. This is level 1. Now for level 2, you might want hand on chair or not. Test yourself. From this empty hip, just lift that leg a little bit off the ground without losing Zhongjung. So don't lean back. Lower the heel softly to the ground. Primary direction down through. Once your back leg is empty, you do the little flamingo lift. Just bend the knee. And then put the foot down. shift back, primary direction down. When we're well established back here, this leg is free to lift without losing upright. And then change, back leg, heel to butt, toe down, shift back. Free leg, primary direction, down. And then what's left is Qingling, loose, nimble, light. Now, level 3, as you come back into your back leg, this front leg, let it come all the way up to that fully lifted position. Softly land the heel. This should be your inside leg, Johan. Or James, sorry. James, have that be your right leg on the inside, right? Up, down in front, heel touching, rock. Now the back leg, heel comes to the butt, and you bring that knee forward and up, reach that foot and toe back. Primary direction, down. Knee up, down, shift. Knee forward and up, toe reach back, shift, up, down, shift, forward and up, toe reach back, shift. If you create the empty full, then this should just feel sliding, gliding, light, empty. And then you change, and now it's light, floating, free, right? Now, bring that right foot back. We're going to change sides. So you have to get closer to your other chair. So a little side step. Weight goes through your right leg or outside leg, outside from this, and then your inside foot or left foot out in front. Remember, not too big of a stance, just a comfortable distance. Now we shift, primary direction down. Get to the tippity tip. You see how I test it? I say, can I waggle this foot without disturbing my posture? And then shift back. Can I softly just move this leg from the hip loose without disturbing my posture? And then change. Get to that tip of the shoe. Change. Because most people, when I'm working with them, they think they've done it, but really they're at about a 60-40, 70-30, maybe 80-20, right? They stop about here and they've still got weight back here. And it's finding, oh, there's that extra, few percent that really create that freedom. And it's about not something you do, it's something you stop doing, some relaxing that needs to happen to get you down to the earth. So here's our level 1. And let's do our level 2. So once the front leg is empty from the hip crease, down, shift. Back leg, once it's empty, just bend the knee. Should be totally undisturbing to your posture. You shift, you wait until you've got full empty. Then you should be able to lift and lower, no disturbance. And then shift. Bending knee, heel to butt, toe down, shift, no disturbance, just easy. Float, lower, shift. Bend the knee, toe down, shift. This is level 2. Just having us disconnect from the floor as a sort of a test to see how you're doing. Then you take that to its culmination of lift, the heel softly down without any weight, primary direction down. Once you connected and rooted, then the movement of that other leg should be slide, slide, and then change. Once you've discerned full and empty, then they should be lift, lower, change. Lift, lower, and back, change. your teacup on your head undisturbed because of Zhongjang, or central upright. Doesn't mean you're holding that upright, you're relaxing all unnecessary activity, and that central upright is then achieved. That's the idea. All right, step left foot back, go back to your first side. Closer to this chair, empty your right foot, put the foot out in front just as before. Change the weight into your right leg. Now, once you get to this tippy toe, then you just swing that foot forward and let the heel touch the floor in front. And then change the weight one more time. So we've taken a full step forward. Now we do that backwards. Change the weight back. Once the front foot's empty, just let it swing back, toe touch, and shift back. I'm going to turn sideways just to show you. For this first one, it's the most like regular walking. Shift, and then just let this foot swing under, kind of like a pendulum. Just swing, and then shift. So you're not picking it up and stepping it over yet. This is just the most like regular walking, where we just let it float and swing from the hip, just like a grandfather clock pendulum. We shift, swing, shift. Shift back, swing back, shift back. Now make sure you remember primary direction is down, down. Notice how you can be primary direction down and down and down, and yet we just traveled forward. Down, 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 down. Now we go to level 2, hand on chair as needed. So lift and lower that inside or right leg, and then shift. Now here, once that left foot's empty, imagine you got to step over something. So pick up the foot, bring it up and over something, and land the heel softly in front, and then shift, and then flamingo, lift, lower, shift back, primary direction down. It's the downness that allows you to lift, bend, and reach back, and shift back. Small lift, lower, shift, primary direction down, which allows you the freedom for that foot. Primary direction down gives you the freedom of that foot. And at no point are you at risk if you do it right. At no point have you left your root. You're patient enough to wait till you get to the earth. Wait until you get to the earth. Let's go level 3, chair as needed. Lift, down, shift, and then we just exaggerate the range of motion here as best you can. Heel to butt, knee up, foot forward, floating down to the touch of the heel, shift. Then this back leg comes forward and up like you're going to step up on something. Reach the toe back, touch softly, change the weight back. Knee comes up, tuck the foot, reach back without any weight going into that back leg. Remember, that's key. This moment is where normally that happens for people. You have to stay where you are and extend the leg, find the earth. That's what really trains our middle, and then shift. Up, down, shift. This is pretty easy, right? Comparatively to the going backwards. This, because we can see, right? We're usually moving forward, but as we go back, this moment right here, as we take the leg up and we try to reach back but not fall back, that brings awareness into our back body in a really important way. One more. Now, changing sides. Bring the right foot back, change weight into its side step, over to this side. Body weight through the right leg, left foot out in front, level 1. So this is just the most casual as can be. Just change the weight, primary direction down. Empty foot floats forward, the heel touching soft, and change the weight. Get to the tippy toe of the other foot. Then primary direction down through that left leg. Right foot is empty, so it steps with ease. Down through, left foot empty. Again, down, step, down. Down, step, down. Down and through. Down and through. Down. Couple more. And think of this like you're polishing your nervous system, round by round, breath by breath, working on being in a parasympathetic state, a relaxed state all the time. And with Parkinson's, it's my kind of thinking that that is something you guys are sort of forced to have to learn, is how to use breath, how to use your attention to tell your nervous system down, relax, release. Now let's go left leg, lift, lower. Change the weight. Now it's like you're stepping up and over something. Heel to butt, foot up and over, foot comes out and down. Change the weight. Back leg, heel to butt, little flamingo lift. Toe down, shift back. Up, tuck, reach without your body weight going into the leg, and shift. Soft lift and lower. Change. Step over that obstacle. Change. Heel to butt. Toe down. Change back. To the degree that you can soften out the tension in the body, then this getting to the earth can happen, you might say, instantaneously. So it'll be shoom, pa, to the earth. And that's where movements can become swift again. But we have to first slow it down and learn how to relax our way through these ranges of motion. So usually it takes a little time, but now, because of practicing this, I can actually apply this when I'm playing sport, jogging even. I'm working on staying down connected, and yet that chingling quality allows for swiftness. Let's go level 3. Knee up, down. Change, wait, arrive. Then the freedom of that empty leg to move, change. Freedom of the empty leg to move, change. Freedom. Change. Freedom. Change. Change. So swiftness ends up being what you're cultivating. Soft and swift, right? But if we move fast, when we're not soft, smooth, and through, then we get in trouble. We're yanking our body around and throwing off our equilibrium, right? Feet together, parallel. Now, just stay where you are. So now I'm matching what you guys are up to. We're all facing forward. Move to the left side of your space and then turn and face across. So your chairs should be on your left side, and you should be, notice I'm almost off the screen on this side and I've got all this room that way. So make that happen for yourself. Now empty your left foot, put it in front, level 1. Change, wait for it to be empty, step, change, step, change. Primary direction is down, down. Let's go back the other way, or go backwards. So change, take your extra time on the going backwards, of course, right? Foot back, find the floor with an empty toe, and then change. Primary direction is down. Down. Looks good, everybody. Down. 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 Let's go forward. Level 1 again. Down. 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 Backwards. Take your time. Safe. Down. 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 So notice you can focus on down and yet you moved forward. You got from A to B. This is practical, right? This is how you practice this throughout your day. Later, you're going to go into your kitchen or to your bathroom or wherever you're going, and you're going to practice this. Let's do level 2, same idea. So lift, lower. Now it's down, the empty foot steps up and over an obstacle, comes down without falling into it, and then down, over the obstacle, down, down. This really tests how connected, or how much are you relying on just one leg, which is really the thing we're looking for. Now going backwards, be very careful. Change. Be careful by making sure you're primarily thinking down, and that you're doing no premature yanking of a non-empty foot. One more. Option level 2 or level 3, which they're basically the same, it's just larger range of motion. So 2 or 3, just find what's your edge, but make sure your teacup is not spilling. And we reverse. Careful, but not tense. So how do we be careful but not tense up? Instead, we learn to rely on soft, supple connection to the earth. Right? Great job, everybody. Now, turn, face forward, and stay to the left side of your space. Now we're going to be going side step. So put the weight through your left leg, empty the right foot, and side step it out. And bring it back into touch if you can. Out and back. Now, what's really important with this one, what a lot of people do is when they step out, they turn the foot and reach with their toe, but that doesn't create what we're looking for in regards to the hip. So don't turn the leg out, keep it neutral, and step the whole leg. So we're opening this space here, but also don't go like this and let your body go with it, because that's the same idea. We're not opening this space. So you have to stay over here and step an empty foot sideways and in. Sideways out and in. Get your entire heel on the floor. So when you go out, you kind of lead through the outer edge of that right foot and get the heel down on the ground. Bring it in. Stay where you are, but step the leg out. In. One more. Step out and stay out. Now change the weight through that right leg till the left leg is empty, and then change the weight back. Do not allow your heels to come off the ground. Don't let your heels come off the ground. So the feet are somewhat glued. And that forces you to find the real estate inside, in the layers of tissue, in the joints. But also don't lean and lean. That's the other way people cheat. Keep your zhong and find down through, down through. The knees have to soften and bend a little. Now stay to your right leg. Left foot should be empty. Bring it in, out. In and out. So James, make sure you're not letting your body go with the leg. Notice how it is. You're kind of going here and here. You see my torso moving as opposed to my torso not moving. Not moving. Yet this leg is free, like I was talking about earlier, right? And that goes for everybody. I was just noticing James at that time. Now bring both feet in as close as they can be. Notice you should be more in your right leg at this moment. Change. So now you're more in your left leg. And this emphasizes that primary direction. There's no room to go left and right, yet we're going left leg, right leg. The way people cheat with this is do a lot of leaning like this. Try, if you limit that and you find this way through, and then find this way through, then you're getting that piston-like movement, that pivot that we're looking for. All right, now stay in your left leg, right foot empty, torso doesn't move, step right leg out. Change the weight. Left foot empty, bring that foot in. Change the weight. Right foot out. Change. Left foot in. Change. Out. Change. In. Change. Out. Reverse. Bring that empty leg in. Change. Out. Change. In. Out. In. In. And back. Change. In. Change out. Now, as you get better at this, you can start practicing that stacking of the events a little closer together. So first we went slow to say, okay, I change, then I step, then I change, then I step, right? And there's this big gap between those. Then as you get better at it, they get closer together. So it's change and step. Change and step. So they're almost right on top of each other. Change and step. Change and step. So it's a sort of returning to swift movement. But if you watch me do it the wrong way, stiffen up, it's me stiffening up and going together, 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 together. See, I'm moving well, aren't I? I'm getting there very fast, but I'm breaking all the rules. So we slow it down so that we get, I can step without shifting, I can shift without stepping, I can step without shifting. And then it can be shift, step, blah, blah. And there's a stillness, a softness, and I'm always connected down to the earth. So let's do that there and back again. Maybe you play with the idea of just bringing the two movements, the two events, a little closer together. So you're still going, I'm not going to step until it's empty full, but I'm going to find right that moment, just the moment where it's time to step. Sha, sha, pa, wa, hu. And our stillness is where we're at this pivot point where we can be the most efficient with the moving parts, because we don't have all this extraneous stuff happening because we're all locked up, right? So that's the goal. That's the sort of long-term play, okay? All righty, and come back to the middle, and let's finish with self-massage. Hands together. Rub the palms, rub the back of one hand, rub the palms, rub the back of the other hand, palms. Now step your feet just a little bit apart so your quads open up there, and hands on the quad. That's the groin. This area is a common place for stagnations, the hernia, inguinal hernia issues happen here. And so we just want to make sure that's through, that's open. And then we go hip flexors, the top of the thigh. So here's your thigh, goes up, 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 up. And there's this little sweet spot, tender spot there that where the hip flexor muscles all meet. Make sure that's feeling warm and through. And then come around to the back, to the tailbone, and down just in between the top of the buttocks there. And then up onto your lumbar. So finding from the sacrum, lumbar 5, 4, 3, right? That whole area tends to be where a lot of binding happens, stagnation happens. Now, like we did our squats earlier, the butt goes back, sit the butt, the hands sweep down, they go around the feet to the inside of the legs, stand all the way up, past the groin to the navel, and then we just do that flow again. Qua, hip flexors, back around to the tailbone, up onto the lumbar, known as Mingmen, and then clear yang channels and yin channels. One more. Clear and middle, and then resetting up the outer arm, over the shoulder, turn the palm up, sweep off the fingers. Again, go same arm, up the outer, turn, sweep. So we don't switch arms each time. Don't switch arms each time. You do about 5, 6, or 7 on one arm, then you switch. Resetting. And then our final wing, roll, hands up and over top, settle. Down to belly button height, and then 1, 2. Thank you, everybody. Taoist bow, thumb, fold. All righty. So any brief questions? Right, so we took our time. Remember these concepts: Zhongzheng, Chunwen, Qingling. Body upright, which then allows you to practice sinking down to the earth. If you allow yourself to really soften to the earth, you won't keep collapsing down. You're going to feel looser, lighter, freer to move. And so on the Friday classes, we practice more of some of this upper body stuff, and eventually they blend together and become, full Tai Chi. But so we're kind of doing lower half Tai Chi, upper half Tai Chi, and then eventually the whole thing. So any questions?
No. I liked the emphasis on the down thing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be helpful.
Definitely. Using it when you're sitting in your chair, when you're, when you start to really understand these concepts, they start to show up everywhere. And I'm always bringing up Ilana's question. She'll always say, I'm struggling with how does this help? But the more you understand it, the more you see it's happening all the time. Everywhere you go, when you're sitting, when you're reaching up to go get something, are you falling forward or are you staying connected and keeping your center? So it's all over the place. So each week, just look for it, right? Look for it. Be open to the fact that you might go, oh, that's starting to make more sense, right? Okay. Thank you, everyone.